Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Shaun Shannon. I'm a former inmate at Frontenac. I spent 5 years there in the early 90s. Yeah.
I've heard that at their peak there were about 300 cows, about 10,000 chickens.
Yeah, we actually had, I think it was close to 300 cows. I don't know about the chickens. I stay away from the chickens, but there was two full barns of milking cows, and then we had the heifer barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we chatted, I guess, almost a year ago, back in September 2018. And I remember when I first came in and met you, the first thing you said to me was, look, just so you know, I'm dead set against what you guys are about.
Yep.
But I'll give anybody a chance to talk.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe you got something good to say.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, to be honest, I was dead set. You know, I didn't see your point of view at that time.
You said to your parents before we were chatting that if this guy says one thing out of line, he's out of here, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
3.5 hours later, we could have kept going.
We could have kept going.
Yeah.
But you made sense on a few things. And after, you know, I've been involved with this thing since they closed the farms. And you know, after slogging through countless hours with government officials and you know, just regular people, my opinion has changed so drastically with this new direction that they want to take these farms in.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what the farms were like before. Like, I mean, you've been very public saying that the farm program saved
my life. And I'm dead set that if that program wasn't going, I would be either dead or in jail again, because it saved my life. Before I showed up at Frontenac, I was broke. I was a broken person, and it fixed me. And that's the best way I can put it. I was like a car that was busted, and that was the garage, and they fixed me. And it wasn't the guards, and it wasn't it was the animals that fixed me, not anything else other than the fact that the animals were there, and they helped fix me.
And you said that, you know, there were, you know, only a limited number of cows, and I think each inmate was assigned something like 10 to 15 cows.
Yeah,
that was their responsibility. That
was their string. Their string of cows was their string of cows, and that was it.
So if anything ever happened to a cow, you knew who was responsible. You could sort of track it down.
Exactly. I mean, you were responsible for a set of cows, and that was your livelihood. That was your whole thing.
And the cows, you said, had names.
They all had names.
Yeah.
My favorite was Priscilla, and they all had names, and they all had personalities.
Yeah.
Cows. Contrary to what people think, cows are very intelligent animals. Very intelligent.
So then along comes the Harper government, and the prison farms across Canada got the axe.
Because we had it too good. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong thinking this, but I thought the whole purpose of prison was rehabilitation, not punishment. I mean, we gave up punishment in the 1800s when they stopped smashing rocks at Kingston Penitentiary. You know, they gave all that up, and that's what I thought the whole thing was about, rehabilitation. And then this bonehead comes in and says, well, no, you got it too easy.
Well, we can get into the new program, which is going to be completely different.
Oh, yeah.
From the old
night
program.
and day.
Night and day.
Night and day. They're going to have goats.
Yep.
1,500 goats, I heard.
Yeah. Well, a lot has changed since the prison farms were shut down. So it's been almost a decade. And people like you have been fighting for almost a decade, holding the torch to see these farms come back.
Yep.
To see the descendants of those original pen-herd cows, is what they were known by, pen-herd cows.
Pen-herd cattle.
And people in the community were proud of the program,
Oh,
farmers
God.
proud of the program,
Yeah.
prisoners proud of the program.
Everybody was proud of that program. That program worked. The community welcomed us with open arms.
Yeah.
You know, it was the whole point of that. I mean, Frontenac was part of Kingston. It was Kingston as far as I was concerned.
And also before, prison farms fed prisoners.
Yes, and now they changed all that. They changed their dietary rules or whatever requirements, and they took out milk of all. I think they still have powdered milk.
Powdered milk,
but they took out fresh milk, and
all fresh food, all fresh
all,
food.
Well, yeah, not just milk, but everything, I guess. Yeah. And now they outsource it, and it's cooked in advance and frozen and then reheated when it gets to the joint.
Yep.
It's nothing but problems. The food is garbage. Well, you used to be able to apprentice as a cook. You used to be able to get your cook's papers. That was the whole point of kitchen work, was you actually, the goal was to get your papers, so that when you got out of prison, you had some kind of skill to fall back on.
Not to mention a life skill of being able to prepare
Well,
food.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
could actually cook for yourself when you got out. You're not relying on a shelter to feed you now. Now you can feed yourself.
Yeah.
God, amazing concept. Rehabilitation, my God.
Yeah. So in addition to the end of the prison farms, the end of the opportunity for prison farms to even feed prisoners at all,
Yeah.
The end of the kitchen programs, and then they say, oh, well, we're going to get rid of those programs and we're going to replace them with something better, I think is what sort of Harper and that government sort of said they wanted to do. And what was it replaced with?
When I started fighting this, the whole understanding that I was brought on to believe was that they'd be bringing back the cows, and it'd be back to where it was before they shut it down. But I never foreseen it going the way they got it going now, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah. So just for clarity, we're talking about at least 1,500 goats in a fully indoor facility.
Yeah.
It's contained indoors.
Self-contained.
Which, by definition, makes it a factory farm.
Oh, that's exactly what it's going to be. You're not going to have any kind of interaction with the animals.
Yeah.
They're going to walk onto a conveyor. The conveyor is going to go around in a circle. It's all going to be done by machine milk. You're going to push buttons. So you're going to go from working in a lot. This is what blows my flipping mind. When they shut down the prison farm at Frontenac, they took all the equipment out and they put in industrial laundry machines. So you pushed a button. Yeah. So now they say, okay, well, let's bring back the prison farm. So now they're taking out all the industrial laundry machines, replacing them with milking machines, and all you're going to be doing is pushing a button.
Yeah.
So how does that change anything about this program? So I'm gone from pushing a washer to pushing a milker. What am I learning?
And no names.
No names.
No
They're
individuality.
all numbers. All numbers.
No opportunity for the inmates to recognize even the intelligence or the
you're not gonna
intellectual capacity of these animals.
You're
Where
not
it's
going
just
to have
units.
you're not going to have the chance to do that. You're not going to have that chance. There's too many of them.
Units of production like what? Like prisoners.
Well, yeah.
You have your
labor.
individuality erased. You're there to be productive, profitable.
Just like the prisoners.
Yep.
They're four-legged prisoners instead of two-legged prisoners.
Well,
You know?
if it's a workforce, if it's a captive workforce,
I mean, if it's making them a ton of money.
That's the concern. That this is where we're heading. Is you've got a vulnerable population without real choice.
You got no choice as a prisoner. You got no choice.
They will say, "Look, it's a voluntary program. Nobody's forced to participate."
That's crap.
But
If you don't participate, they send you back behind the wall.
You dangle that parole carrot there.
Well, not just that parole carrot, but just your classification carrot. You know, you go to a minimum and if you don't jump when they say how high, you know, they send you back behind the wall. So everything you've worked for over however many years is gone in the blink of an eye because you don't want to be a pawn in their machine. Where's the justice in that?
Tell me about back behind the wall. What does that mean?
You go back to a medium security institution. So you go from being a minimum inmate to back behind the wall means you go from Frontenac to Collins Bay.
Right. So if you don't participate in the programs that they want you to participate in,
you go back.
It affects your correctional plan.
It affects everything.
Yeah.
Affects everything. You go back behind the wall and you get reclassified. Which means you're everything you've worked for, because to become a minimum inmate, you've got to work like a dog to get that classification. Yeah. You've got to jump through all their hoops. So now you've jumped through all their hoops, but because you don't want to jump the last hoop willingly, they hold that little thing in front of it. It's the little carrot before the horse. And if you don't bite that carrot, you go back behind the wall and you have to start all over again. Why?
So what do you think prisoners today are going to think about this industrial goat dairy operation?
Well, I'll tell you something. As I was talking to you earlier, I've been reading on the internet quite a bit about this goat operation, and so far they've got 10 guys that want to go to this farm. 10 guys. That's it. They can't get people to go to this operation. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, when the cow operation was going in Frontenac, there was a waiting list to get there. There was a waiting list. I had to wait 7-8 months before I could even get there, because it was a waiting list. Guys wanted to get there because it was a good program. Now they can't even get guys. There's nothing they can do to get guys to go there now. There's no incentive pay at all. Used to be incentive pay. Used to get, I mean, it's not much, $1.25 an hour, but if you're paid $1.25 an hour incentive to milk the cows, which is nothing, but it's an incentive to do that. You know,
Yeah.
it was an incentive.
So now, whether you're pushing a broom in your unit
Same
or
amount of
working
pay.
all day hard labor on a farm, you
Same
get
amount
the
of pay.
same pay.
Same pay.
So who's going to want to spend all that hard work? You can't even make enough money to buy extra food to make up for the appetite you built up for all that hard work.
Exactly, because they're not going to let you have extra food out of the kitchen. My God, no, they wouldn't do that. That would make sense. The whole problem with this system is it's a nonsense system. They're spending all this money on building this big goat farm operation, and if they can't get more than 10 guys to go there, they're going to have to hire people from the street to go and do this.
Yep.
And that's going to cost them a ton of money. There's employee benefits, and there's pensions, and there's unions, and there's safety, and security, and I mean, it's going to steamroll.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nothing but headaches.
And once they get that massive operation going, they have to maintain it. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
to keep it going no matter what. Otherwise, it just fails.
It just fails.
And then all that money down the drain.
And all that money down the drain, and they're back to square one, which is bring the cows back. You know, they've had consultations by former inmates such as myself, and they never listen to us. You know.
Yeah, I found that interesting. So there have been some Canadian senators who have started to ask questions about what's happening here with the prison farms, and they put some questions to the Commissioner of CSC, and one of them included the question, who did CSC consult with when redesigning this program, and how involved were prisoners in this process? And so they talk about consulting people in the community and different stakeholders and regulatory agencies, and it also says that they talked to the inmate committees and kept them informed, and in addition, it says specifically, in addition, a former offender from the farming program was consulted and continues to be a resource that CSC can access as implementation planning is ongoing.
Yeah, and
Is that you?
That is me, and I've been talking to them. I've talked to them a few times, and I mean, I might as well just talk to a wall.
So you don't feel that you were listened
They
to?
don't listen to. They've already got in their mind what they want to do, and I think they were just pleasing public pressure, and just, you know, they wanted to make it look like, oh yeah, we're consulting ex-offenders, and we're consulting, and we're doing this and we're doing that, just to make them look good, because they're dead set on having this goat farm operation come hell or high water.
Yeah. And now, you know, we have, you know, gently encouraged peaceful prisoner non-participation in the program until it's a program that does not exploit anybody.
Yeah.
Prisoners have the right to say, no, this is not what rehabilitation looks like.
But they don't have a right to say no according to CSC. You know, it's not, if they say no, then they're going against, and this is where the gray area. If they say no, then they're going against their correctional plan, which is to listen to, you know, their correctional plan is, do what we tell you to do, be a good boy, and we'll let you go home early. And you can't say no, because that's not being a good boy.
Now tell me about other prison programs. A lot of the prison programs are run by CORCAN, which is sort of the programming branch of Correctional Service of Canada.
I call that the business branch of Correctional Services of Canada, because that's where their money comes from, is the CORCAN operations. CORCAN runs industrial metal shops, woodworking shops, canvas shops, tailor shops, and all the product that they make, they sell.
Usually,
to different forms to different government, or to military,
yeah.
or some public. Public has access to it as well.
Some. Now this new farm operation is going to be completely, explicitly for supplying the external market.
Yeah.
Which is new. That's never
it's never been done before, and it's new. But CORCAN, they're taking a ball saying, yeah, we're going to do this, and all they're seeing is the dollar signs going up and down in their eyeballs. Oh my God, how much money are we going to make? Yeah, great. But in the meantime, they're stomping on toes that they shouldn't be stomping on.
Yeah.
The people are getting tired of going to jail and being treated like a slave, being treated like a slave. Yeah. That's exactly how they're treating them. Like they're treating them like they're a slave. Like, you're going to do this, and that's all there is to it. We're going to work you to the bone, and that's you've got no say in the matter. This is what you're going to do. And if you don't, then you'll do all your time here.
And now, from your experience, because you've been in the system, how many years overall were you in?
I was in for 23 years.
23 years. Now, what kind of person comes out of that system in your experience?
Well, I mean, you're bitter. You're very bitter when you come out of there, because they treat you like crap. And you come out of there angry at everybody. I mean, it's not good.
Not good. Yeah, I've heard some prisoners express, a few of them actually, saying like prisoners don't want to work for the man.
No.
The man. So the institution, the system.
That's right.
But they also don't want to just sit around with nothing to do. So there is, they want programs that would be beneficial, relevant, meaningful, get them, opportunities to develop skills that'll get them a job when they come out, but it's got to be meaningful and relevant, and to whatever degree, as much as we can, ethical within the prison industrial complex. Is that at all possible? I don't know.
I don't know.
But we can set the bar up there, aim for ethical,
Yeah.
and give prisoners opportunities that will give them that sense of pride and satisfaction. So if we're going to have the prison farms back, and if we want to accomplish that goal of seeing those pen-herd cow descendants brought back to the program, if they're not going to be producing milk for the prisons, then, well, what way could we be bringing these back that bring back the animal therapy? We say that you can have a model of sanctuary. So an actual model of animal-assisted therapy. The animals don't have to be there to produce food for the prisons. It's not going to happen anyways.
No.
But they can be there for the therapeutic purposes. And it's a federal program. It would be great to see it follow an actual model of a recognized therapeutic model.
Well, they got to do something, because it's not going to work the way they're doing it now. There's got to be something they can do. They don't know if they're coming or going.
Yeah.
They don't know if they're coming, and if they don't change, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And the sad part about it all? Not the poor guy inside that's suffering. It's the poor people out here that are going to suffer, because these guys are going to come out and they're just going to be like powder kegs.
Yeah.
Like powder kegs. And the first time somebody ticks them off, they're going to get their head chewed off. Yeah. Or something worse.
Yeah. We actually have a fairly high recidivism rate in Canada.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people end up back in the system.
Of course.
So the system's not working.
It is, though. The system wants that. They want the recidivism. Because they make money off of these guys.
The prison industrial complex.
That's right, the industrial complex. They're making money. The more people they have in prison, the more money they make.
And it's crazy though, because the money spent per prisoner is enormous. It's astronomical.
Let's look at foreign countries. Denmark, Holland. They've got islands that they turned into prison farms, and the recidivism rate is phenomenal, like 20%.
Yep. Norway, 20%.
20% of the guys come back. The rest of them never see the inside of a prison again.
Compared to something like 50 to 70% in Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah, just for comparison.
Just for comparison. Like, they got to be doing something right.
Yeah. And that is prioritizing the healing process, the rehabilitation process. Obviously, mental health is a big issue for people within the system.
It's the biggest issue.
You treat mental health. You treat substance abuse. You treat victims of childhood physical or sexual abuse. You have programs for this. You're going to see recidivism go down and society healing.
The biggest aspect of my whole turning around was the animals. Yeah. The animals were so big in my turning around, and I mean I still have animals today. Yeah. And if I didn't have my animals, I don't even want to think about how bitter I would be.
Now, how would you feel working with the goat carousels?
I don't want to work with the goat carousels. I don't even want to have anything to do with this anymore.
That has none of that benefit.
It's got no benefit at all. All it is a money-making operation, and I don't agree with who they're selling the milk to start off with, and I don't, that's a whole ball of wax right there.
Yes, infant formula for the Chinese market.
For the Chinese market.
For Canadian prisoners.
For now, Canadian prisoners are going to be working for a communist country.
Either directly or indirectly. That's what we're looking at.
That's just hunky-dory. I mean, when they first started off thinking about bringing the farms back, their whole intention was, and I wholeheartedly believe this, their whole thing was they're bringing back the cows. Yeah. And then they thought, well, God, we're not going to be making any money, so why would we want to bring back cows? We've got to do something. If we're going to bring back these farms, we're not feeding our guys anymore. What's the point if we're not going to be making any money? We've got to figure out some way to make money. And all of a sudden, the Chinese government, the Chinese corporation says, oh, let's build infant formula plant in Kingston.
Yep. Right between the two prisons.
Right between the two prisons. What a convenient location.
Yep.
What a convenient location. So close to both of them. And then CSC said, brainstorm. Why don't we put in 1,500 goats and get our guys to sell them, and we'll sell the milk to this company and screw everybody else. And promise made, promise kept, the cows are coming home. I still got that clip. Got that clip. Where are the cows? Token cows.
Well, and of course, these farmers say you can't just go from cow dairy into
can't.
goat dairy. It's a very different industry.
Total different
It's
operation.
very challenging. So, I mean, a lot of people are very concerned that if they do succeed in setting up this industrial goat dairy, that is going to fail one way or another.
Well, let's just talk about the difference between the goats and the cows. A cow is an intimidating animal because of its size and its nature. It's an intimidating animal. A little goat, cute little cuddly goat, oh, isn't that cute, the little cuddly goat, is not a very intimidating animal. So right there, you're opening up the door for guys that are having a bad day and they're going to go out and they're going to lash out at these animals. And if you lash out at a cow, you're taking your life into your own hands. If you lash out at a goat, the goats there's no fear factor to keep you from smashing a goat, where there was with a cow.
Now, of course, there might be if they were allowed to keep their horns, but they removed the horns from the goats, which is vulnerable.
When I was first brought into the fold about this in one of my consultation meetings, I told them, I said, right off the hop, you can't be bringing goats into an operation. You got people coming from the city of Toronto who have never been around a farm animal in their life. Goats stink to high heaven. Their milk stinks. And you've got these guys coming who've never been around a farm animal in their life, and you're going to expect them to work with a goat and not have any problems or any issues? Are you that stupid?
So you've told this to CSC?
I've told this to CSC on more than one occasion.
And what was their response?
Well, they're still bringing the goats, are they not?
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, what their response is,
said, yeah.
they didn't take anything that I offered them. I might as well have just been speaking to the wall. I mean, it sounds sad. Some of the cows got abused. I mean, it happens. You're dealing with prisoners here. Not all prisoners are perfect, right? Not all prisoners are there for the right reason.
Yeah.
And the goats are just such a vulnerable animal. What are they going to do? They're going to headbutt you to death. You'll be laughing so hard. That's the only thing you're going to do is you'll die from laughter.
And they're playful and
they're playful and they're friendly and blah blah blah. Where a cow is it's a big animal. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
You try and move a cow and it looks at you to say, yeah, okay, like that's going to happen. So they're going to have issues.
Yeah, you mentioned that you went to one of the goat farms for one of the photo opportunities
Yes.
that CSC was putting
Yes.
on. You were
Yeah.
one of the ones who went to pick up a goat from a goat farm.
Yeah.
500 goats? Was
Yeah,
that farm?
500 goats.
Now, what was your experience?
Stank to be heaven. I was almost sick to my stomach from the stench.
Right.
From the
So
stench.
multiply that times at least 3.
Well, yeah.
Indoors.
And I was indoors. I lasted about, 25 seconds before I was gagging. It was so bad, the stench. And I mean, a cow barn, there's no smell to a cow. I mean, if it craps, you smell it, but it's nothing compared to a goat. The goat's milk stinks to high heaven. The milk itself stinks. And when they're in heat, which is when you milk the cow, is when they're lactating, that's the worst time, because that's when the milk really stinks. So you're going to have these people who've never been around an animal before. Now, remember, never seen an animal before in their life. And you're telling them, okay, be nice now. Get along with Mr. Goat. Don't worry about the stink. It's not, get along with him. Don't do that now. Get along with Mr. Goat. You're going to have nothing but problems. But I don't know what I'm talking about. So.
And of course, there's also people who live around the prisons, and people have said that facility is going to stink. The neighbors are going to smell it.
Yep.
Anybody passing by is going to smell that.
Well, when they bring the manure out to the manure pile and they dump it on, that's going to be just a stink to high heaven.
Yeah, and then how is that going to affect the groundwater?
Well,
it's all just going to, it's going to create pollution,
Well, of course.
smell pollution,
Yeah.
groundwater pollution.
Good idea, though. Good idea.
Of course, yay, the farms are coming back.
The farms are coming back. Promise kept. Promise made. Promise kept. The cows are coming home.
How do you think people in Kingston feel about this? Is this the victory that they've been waiting for so long?
No, man, no.
Is anybody
There's
happy?
there's no victory here. There's no victory here. None. No. The Save the Prison Farm group, which I'm a part of, was floored when they found out the goats were coming, and there was no cattle at first.
Yeah.
There was no cattle in this grand plan. There was no cattle coming. They had to fight to get the dairy quota to get these cattle. They had to fight CSC to let them get the cattle.
Yep.
The 60 or 50 token cattle.
Yep. So all of what's happening now, really, if you look between the lines, this is not a response to community activism.
No, it's not a response to community activism. You know, it was, you know, and the poor people who slogged every Monday night for years in front of that Collins Bay Penitentiary all year round, snow, rain, shine, they protested out for every Monday night.
Yeah.
Every Monday night. For years they fought. They stood out there with their signs and protested for what? For nothing.
Well, we believe there's still an opportunity here to see justice done, to see an outcome that everybody can be happy with and proud of. This is not the ending to the story.
Oh God,
the
this is
fight
the
is
beginning.
not over.
This is the beginning.
Yep.
This is just the beginning of it all. This is what I'm worried about. Once they get that foothold of those 500 goats in, it's going to be a dog eat dog fight.
Yeah.
We can't let them get those first 500 goats in. If that means I got to go down and stand on Princess Street or Bath Road. If I got to stand on Bath Road with my arms up in the air and not to let the truck on, then that's what I got to do.
Isn't that kind of crazy that the message from the government and from CSC seems to be that if you want to be listened to, you're going to have to break the law. And then maybe we'll listen to you. Then maybe we'll give you a seat at the table.
Yeah.
If it takes another blockade, it takes another blockade.
If that's what I got to do, I'm telling you right now, if that's what I got to do, mark my words, I'll be there. I will be there because I don't see this. I see this whole operation going right down the tubes. And then what?
Yeah.
Then they shut down the prison farms forever and nobody gets a benefit from the program like I benefited. The biggest thing for me was I see myself in the cows. I see myself. Like I was helpless. When you're doing crime, you're helpless. You're helpless. There's nothing. The only thing that you can do is keep doing what you're doing because you don't know how to help yourself. You got to get better, especially if you've got an addiction problem on top of it all. And the only way you can get better is to keep doing that crime, to keep getting that. So when you bring an animal into this picture and you see this animal's going through the same thing, that's where the bond comes from, and that's why it's such a powerful bond. And to see him bringing in goats where you're going to have no contact at all, it's saddening. It makes me want to just vomit at times, you know. So when they took the cows away, guys were just heartbroken. They formed bonds with these animals, you know. And whereas that you're not going to get that same reaction from a goat.
At least not 1,500 of them.
Oh God damn, you're not going to have a chance.
Now, of course. You were surprised to learn that they still have the slaughterhouse program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are still prisoners, even after the farm shut down, they kept the abattoir.
Okay. See, and I thought that they closed it down. So
no, they still have it. Prisoners still work in the abattoir, slaughtering animals.
Which I don't agree with that aspect of slaughtering the animals, but there's still the rehabilitative value of looking after the cow before they put them to their death. It's not all about killing the cows that program works. It's again, you're forming a bond with that animal.
Yeah.
Even though it's a short time bond, you're still forming that bond because that animal still has to be alive when they kill it. Does that make sense? It's got to be alive when they kill it. You can't kill a dead cow.
You can't be sick either when
you can't butcher a sick or a dead animal for health reasons.
Yeah.
So you still got to have a healthy animal to kill, which makes it really sounds bad, but so you still form that bond because you got to make sure your animal's healthy before they kill it. Which I mean, it's just
yeah.
You know.
But I mean, in a perfect world, we could give inmates the opportunity to bond and care for animals and not say goodbye at the end.
You know, everything is a dollar. The bottom line is all about the dollar, all about the money, the deficit, the budget, the money, the profit, that. That's all, folks.
Well, I mean, and like, as you know, we have argued that they can make money off of an ethical and environmental approach to this program. But then when I talked about that with David Suzuki, you've seen the interview with David Suzuki, when I said that to him, his response took me by surprise. He says, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that you have to justify something on the basis of the economy. And he went on about that. And it opened my eyes. You're right.
Makes sense.
I mean, at the same time, you can. Look, if it's all about the money, we can work that out.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't. There are higher reasons, as he said.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of options if we just have a little bit of creativity and a little bit of political will to do something innovative and ethical here.
We used to give eggs to the food bank in Kingston. I mean, it wasn't many eggs, but my God, you know how much better it feels giving the eggs to somebody who's going to appreciate them?
Yeah.
Because they got no food at home?
Yeah.
You know?
And of course, with the new farms, they're saying, oh, we're going to grow a little bit of vegetables, and we're going to donate those to the Living Spoonful in Kingston.
That's a crock of shit.
That's a small little vegetable plot as far as I know, is already there.
That's
not part of the farm program.
That's a crock of shit. That's just the eye candy, as far as I'm concerned.
Eye candy, yeah.
Eye candy.
Yep.
You know, eye candy. They've got so much land there, they can grow all kinds of crops there, vegetables and you know, and there shouldn't be one hungry person in the Kingston area.
Yeah.
Not one.
That land could feed all of Kingston.
Of course it could, and then some.
Yeah.
But they're not going to make any money doing that. And that's what it comes down to, is if they're not making money, then why are they doing it?
There are different ways to make money.
Of course there's different ways to make money.
You know, as some people have argued, maybe it shouldn't make money at all, because then the incentive is to pursue greater profits. But if it could at least break even,
yeah,
and be applauded, and actually have the rehabilitative value, reduce recidivism, how much money will you save?
Well, you'll save a whole ton of money.
Are coming back.
If you're not having guys come back to prison, you're saving a whole lot of money.
Buckets of money. Yeah.
I mean, come on, my God, just saying it is just blows my mind. Now we're not going to teach you how to look after animals anymore. We're going to teach you how to push a button and fold laundry. My God, what a concept!
In addition to stripping tanks for the military,
of course,
parts,
but that's been going on. That's been going on for years.
Yeah. Well, but these are the kinds of programs that are available in prisons.
Yeah.
The correctional investigator has criticized in women's prisons, women are making underwear for men's prisons.
Yep.
And he says, how is that? When how many women in the prison system have experieed physical or sexual abuse by men? And here they are
making underwear,
making men's underwear
of course,
for men's prisons.
Hey, you know, makes sense to me.
How much lower can we set the bar?
You can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
You can't
and,
actually, really.
You know what's funny about this is, you know what's funny about all this? You can't make this shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't make this shit up. You just can't make it up.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't make up all this is going on. You can't make up any of these stories.
Yeah.
This is stuff that's going on all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And you know, a lot of people just don't pay attention, don't ask questions.
Well,
a lot of people don't know what happens in prisons.
Maybe they don't care. Happens because they're
care.
Prisoners.
Yeah.
We deserve to be there. We put ourselves there. We should be, you know, consider ourselves lucky. You know? Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that I'm being treated like dirt. So happy about that. Let's be realistic too. Some people deserve to be in prison. Yeah. There are people that deserve to be there. But there are other people who made choices in life that they didn't have any other choice.
Yes.
If you're hungry, my God, you're going to want to eat. I don't care who you are. And if that means stealing a chocolate bar or a truck full of chocolate bars, then that's what you're going to do. You know?
Yeah, we got poverty.
Poverty.
You know, which Gandhi described as the worst form of violence.
We've got substance abuse.
Substance abuse.
Physical abuse.
Yes,
sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
My God. And not just women getting sexually abused, men
yes.
being sexually abused.
Yeah.
And these people, they don't deserve help. Oh, they're all prisoners. Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know, they deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But so let's not help them when they're there by giving them programs at work.
Yeah.
Let's get them to sell. Let's get them to work in a goat farm so we can sell the milk to the Chinese for infant formula.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense to me.
It's consistent, at least.
It's very consistent. It's that revolving door syndrome. Because once you get stuck in that revolving door, it's so hard to get out.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. I was in that revolving door. Yeah. And then Frontenac came along, and they stick their foot in that door and they stop it. But the cows stopped that door from spinning. Because I was spinning my wheels, thinking, God, I don't want to be here, but I really got no flipping choice because of how I am.
And you've been out for years.
I've been out for 15, 16 years now.
So obviously something worked.
Yeah, the cows.
Yeah. Now, you've also said that if you had known all these years that this GOAT plan was going to be the outcome, you never would have had anything to do with it.
No.
And that if they succeed in putting this through, you told me you're going to fight this tooth and nail.
Right to the end.
Right to the end.
I'll take it to my grave. I'm not.
So will
I'm dead set against the Canadian government doing this.
No. We need to say no.
I mean, you know, it's, and I'm going to take a lot of flack over this, but I don't care at this point in time. I'm tired of of the public being walked over and lied to by a government who promised something totally different.
Yeah.
And 1,500 goats, I can see a goat going missing the odd goat going missing and turning up as a curry plate somewhere.
Yeah.
Of course I can.
You said that used to happen with the chickens?
Yeah.
There were 10,000 chickens
Yeah.
and they would go, a chicken would go missing?
Yeah, chicken would go missing every once in a while. A couple of chickens will go missing.
Yeah.
You know? Where was it? Well, it was in a pot somewhere, being boiled for supper.
Yeah.
It happens.
And with 1,500 goats, how do you keep track?
You can't.
Like, what, are they going to do a count of prisoners and a count of goats every day now, you know?
Count up.
Count up.
Count up. So as soon as them barns are ready, them goats are in. And like I said, if we let them get that foothold in the door,
Right.
it's going to be game over for us.
Yeah.
And the goats.
Yeah. And nobody wants that to be their legacy. Nobody wants to say because of my activism, now prisoners are going to be factory farming thousands of animals for the Chinese market.
I'm
It's
so
not...
proud that I've been fighting, that I fought for goats. I'm so happy that after the 12 years and 13 years that I've been fighting was all for goats. You know, they blindsided me, and that's not right.
No.
They blindsided me, and I took it like a
Puppeted and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They manipulated me is what they did.
Yeah.
They promised. They made promises. They gave stories. They made, you know, they did all they could to get the support of the former inmates and everything else to back up their play.
Like the senators are still being told that the prisoners have been consulted,
And
their interests are being respected.
We've been consulted. Nothing's been respected, but we have been consulted.
Yeah. Well, and we did a survey of prisoners at Joyceville Institution last year, early 2018. 75% voted for plant-based agriculture and animal sanctuary, and that was before it was known that the new dairy operation was going to be factory farming goats for infant formula. So we're pretty sure now the vote would be 100%.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
There's no personalization in that type of operation.
Yeah, the goat carousel, the industrial dairy.
There's nothing. There's no contact with the animal. The big part about milking a cow, and I remember, you used to have to wash their bag, and then you used to, put the milker on, and you would pet them and talk to them, and there was an interaction there. And then when the milking was done, you took the milker off, and you put the iodine in the tit, and there was still interaction until you got to the next cow. So there was compassion there, There was an interaction. That's where you formed that bond. You knew each cow's idiosyncrasy. Well, I got to be careful. Putting a milker on this tit doesn't work. I got to be careful. You knew all their habits. You knew when wasn't feeling well. There was just that bond, and you're not going to get that with the goats because there's so many of them. How can you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, if one is sick or whatever, it's not about calling in the vet to take care of it. It's just you're gone.
You're gone.
You're out, and
exactly.
you're on the chopping block.
Yeah. Yeah. Next victim.
Yeah.
Next victim.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's sad.
We want it is.
That's sad.
And
because now you're snuffing out a life that never needed to be snuffed out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we believe none of them need to be. Especially, this is a therapeutic program, a rehabilitation program. So we just have, differences in vision. And I don't think that you're opposed to the idea of a sanctuary model
I'm
for
not
the
opposed
cows,
to the idea of a
but you're also
sanctuary.
not opposed to a dairy model
No,
for the
I'm
cows.
not opposed. No.
So but there are different options to have the cows involved, to have a therapeutic program. And what's happening today is not what anybody fought for.
No,
it's not what anybody wants.
No, it's not what anybody fought for. Margaret Atwood didn't. If she had known that there was going to go to goats, I bet you she would have put her support behind it.
No, and she tweeted. She tweeted saying, "What's wrong with this proposed prison farm return?
Yeah.
Feed prisoners and local communities, not international markets."
That's right.
So even Margaret Atwood has said, "No, no, 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 no."
That's right, and she
Who's
was
listening?
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening. They've kept a very tight lid. People are asking now, how come we're only finding out about this now?
Yeah.
So people are going to oppose this. Nobody's going to want to support this program.
Especially when they find out that it's Chinese infant formula.
Yeah, it's just
wrong.
on every level. This is
Wrong.
we can do better than this.
Wrong.
Yes, exactly. Wrong.
Wrong.
We can do better than this. It brings to mind a quote by Mario Savio. "There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart, that you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop."
Stop, exactly. You've got to make it stop.